So I will start with the lecture because already 52 students are there. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So is the screen visible to all? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yesterday we had seen the various definitions of disaster. Then we had seen how the disaster is there with humankind right from the methodological ages. So how the word disaster was originated. So you may be asked a question in the exam, what is disaster, or define disaster. Just a simple question. You may think it is a very general question, but in the exam you have to write very pinpoint that because it may carry marks, it may carry 5 marks or 8 marks or 10 marks question may be there. It is a general question on the onset, but what you should do is you should understand the question and what is expected from that question you should write properly. You should write in proper sequence. So how the word has come, that you should write. What is the definitions? These are the two definitions. Also we had seen definition in the earlier presentation. And hazard definitions, we have seen various definitions. I had explained you this vulnerability concept. Then how the disaster occurs when vulnerability meets this entire diagram we had seen yesterday. And type of disaster, of course, you have an entire chapter dedicated on this, the module number 2, which we'll see in detail the type of disasters. Then just a quick glance of what the disasters are. Then disaster management, how it is done, and the 4 phases of disaster management: preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation. This we had seen yesterday. Phases of disaster management, these 5 phases we had seen. We had seen this slide also, disaster preparedness, how it is done, and how the various organizations or various agencies are involved in this particular activity. And disaster preparedness we had seen. Medical preparedness and mass casualty management, this also we had seen, how to not overburden a particular hospital or medical care center. And the disaster response we had seen, disaster impact and response. We had stopped somewhere around this word triage. I had given you the definition of triage, what triage is and how it came into existence. This is the problem with Google Meet. We need to stop and again allow the participants. My request to you all is just join the lecture on time so that we do not waste time in between. Fine. Yes, somebody has messaged allow permission to enter, but you should join on time, because the problem is if you join late in Google Meet, I have to again minimize the entire window and then allow you, because when I'm presenting, the entire screen is only the presentation is seen to me on my side. Fine. So we had stopped at this word triage. Somewhere here we had stopped. Triage is a French word meaning selection and classification, assigning priority for treatment and transport on the basis of severity of injury and likelihood. What you do is you make group of patients, like the emergency medical team, it makes group of patients, and then the patients are again based on the severity of their impact by disaster, they are given the various treatments. But before administrating the treatment, what is essential is essentially they should be classified. You should be able to classify them as how they are injured or what priority they require. Like you'll give some, so you'll attach some stickers to their particular to them particularly. Like if they attach the red triage, it means they require high priority. Immediate medical care should be given. Yellow means medium priority. Green means what? Green means they are just ambulatory patients, means just first aid, and they can manage themselves on their own. And black means, because this is also important, because the bodies should be identified in case of a disaster, and the bodies should be again properly managed so that the contamination and risk to other is avoided. So such type of tagging is done. Are you able to see this trials tag?
Yes.
So this a tick mark is made on the, or a circle is made over the particular requirement or priority, and based on that the attention is provided. Because it is not the medical team, the person, the disaster management people will just identify. The identification is also most important, because if what is important is the disease, and the immediate people who require immediate medical care should be identified quickly, so that proper medical care and other emergencies are administered. So food and safety, water safety, these all things are there, because you need to plan as engineers. You need to plan that the adequate safety is there. What food and water is made available. Food can be provided through various means. Then again, water again, if the well is there, if in case of flood, if the well is contaminated, you need to ensure that proper water is reached. So what mechanical systems you will install, and you will what mechanical systems you will place, so that the good quality water is there available in sufficient quantity for the people. Animal control, again, in case, this is especially in case of floods and all, no? Because in earthquakes and all, generally the animal control and all is not that much required, but in case of floods and all, in cyclones, recently the cyclone is there in Bihar and Bihar and Orissa.
Assam.
Assam, sorry. So Bihar and Assam, the flood is there. So you may have seen in your news, na, the animals are lying, like the zoo and all the animals are there. Their bodies are just lying in the fields. So it may pose a disease to the people who come or who live in the vicinity of that particular carcass. So vector control, mosquitoes and rodents are there. So people may get infected by malaria and dengue. Communicable diseases control, this is most important, because now people are out of their comfort zones. They are not staying in their homes. So measles, diarrhea diseases and malaria breakdown, all these things are there. Waste management, because again the waste needs to be segregated. One waste is there due to the disaster, and then the other waste which are there, which the human beings generate. Solid, dry waste and wet waste, you are already studying that in detail in environmental engineering. So that needs to be in case of disaster, it is more so, because more control is required, because the diseases spread very quickly. Management of hazardous agent exposure, it may be there that any chemical factory or industry is there. This is especially the most disaster management required is in case of floods, because floods cause a lot of problems. So especially in floods in Mumbai and all this region, where the floods are a regular occurrence, we need to be well equipped as disaster management force. So management of hazardous agent exposure, particular matter, infectious agents or hospital scientific laboratories matters, that also should be properly treated.
सर आप फोन में भी ऑन करके कर सकते ना सर?
नहीं, फोन में प्रॉब्लम क्या है ना, मैंने ऑन किया था पहले लेक्चर में, तो उसमें इशू है कि माइक का एको हो जाता है, आपको एको सुनाई देगा, तो वो इशू रहेगा हमेशा. Otherwise I have to keep my phone away from me, but again then I cannot access that phone, and then how will I allow the entry? वो इशू है. So consequences of disaster, of course, the effect of disaster. Why this disaster management is a particular question may come in the exam. Why the study of disaster management is important? Why are we studying this particular course? And what is the impact of disaster on human health? So you should be able to write it very precisely. One thing is that you can write many things about disaster, because disaster is a very general subject. But what is expected in the question, exactly, precisely, if you write that expected answer, then what will happen is you will get very good marks. Because look, as I told in my first lecture also, passing is not difficult in disaster management. What is difficult is scoring good marks, because in the last few years what I have seen, people are not getting more than 60 marks. Very few people, unless they are writing very precisely, they get above 60 marks out of 80. So your final, this is your final two attempts are there when you can enhance your pointers. So your priority should be that you get such subjects, you should get very good marks. Where it is, look, numerical, so mathematical subject is there, nobody is going to decrease your marks provided your solution is correct. But if such theoretical subject is there, you may know a lot of things, but what the question demands, if you are not written it properly, you may lose your marks. So this you should keep in mind. You should read the answer question properly and answer accordingly. So I will not allow anyone out after this, because already it's 12:39. So those who are not entered still, they will be marked absent. So health, the consequences of disaster. Health is the main, you can say, main consequence of disaster. Physical health is deteriorated, like injuries are there, disabilities are there, death, coma, entanglement. You know, these are very common injuries which are there, especially in case of sudden disaster. Sudden disaster, you may say that like an earthquake, it is a sudden type of disaster. So this type of physical health hazards may be more. Psychological disaster, cognitive, people's thinking ability and all, behavioral, social, these all health impacts may be there in case of a disaster. And structural damage. Now here the role of our engineer is prime important, because what is there is structural damage. People are, the houses are damaged. The houses are damaged. So people need to be provided some dwellings. So they should be provided with some temporary structure, which are, look, because the flood is there or some earthquake is there, so there are aftershocks, after effects of an earthquake. So they should be able to live in safe conditions, safe environment, so that their health and their children and all, and they are protected from the diseases, all, everything there, and their entire society is protected. Then the ecological consequences are there, changes in the ecosystem is there, economical disaster is there, financial losses are there. Of course, in this pandemic, we may all be witnessing this financial loss and all, because everybody has lost their jobs. Most of them are, even if they have not lost their jobs, there's still some impact is there on their financial aspects, because they are not able to purchase things which they would have purchased in the normal circumstances. Then symptoms of disaster. This particular note is under the effects of disaster. A study why this disaster management study is important. So you need to understand the symptoms of disaster. The physiological symptoms are there, like fatigue, shock symptoms, profuse sweating, fine motor skills. Motor skills mean they are not able to, हम बोलते हैं ना, we say ना, we अपने होशो आवाज में नहीं है. That means what? He is not able to gather or recollect what has happened in the immediate past. Chills are there, teeth grinding is there, muscle aches are there, dizziness is there. These are the physiological symptoms, which are more with his physical state, with his physical body. Then cognitive system is there, memory loss is there, distractibility is there, he is not in his senses, reduced attention span is there, decision making difficulties, he is not able to choose, calculation difficulties, confusing trivial means small with major issues. Some issues are there on the mental side. First was the physical side, and next is the mental side. Then the emotions symptoms are there, because loss of loved ones, loss of property may lead to anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, grief, identification of with victims, depression, and there after disaster. And behavioral symptoms. Insomnia means lack of sleep, substance abuse, gallows gait. These all things are there, which will lead to behavioral impacts. And factors which may affect reactions. Now see, there are various factors which are there, which will be affecting the reaction of the people. Like if the disaster related factors, if lack of warning system is there, the proper adequate warning systems were there, people may have reacted differently, but because of lack of warning systems, the reactions are different. Scope of the event, abrupt contrast of scene, personal loss, injury, type of disaster. So these all are the disaster related factors which will impact the reaction. The reactions would have been different for different type of disaster. So depending on the disaster related factors, the reactions change. So always it is said that you should be proactive and it should not be reactive. So the reaction of people should be proper. It should be monitored. If you are, it should be well, you can say the reactions can be proper according to the type of disaster and according to the disaster if the proper proactive actions are taken by the disaster mitigation team. And host related factors are there, health, like the disabled, invalid, medical problem people are there, they are more affected by disaster. Social factors are there, demographic factors are there, past history. These all factors which will affect the reactive power, reactive reactions of the people from the disaster. The disaster and diseases, of course, when the disaster strikes, the diseases are very commonplace. Like epidemic diseases are there, malaria, cholera, and all these things, dengue, and these all things are there quite common. These are the, you can say, the after effects of a disaster. So this is their consequence, maybe loss, maybe consequence of disaster. Some tend to be more pandemics. Like say in this case, it is a pandemic. No, it is a disaster like this particular coronavirus, COVID-19. It is a pandemic. So a similar pandemic had occurred 100 years previously. So it was known as Spanish flu. So it killed around 5 crore people in the 2 years. So there were 3 waves of that Spanish flu and all. You might be knowing, you might have read it somewhere. Then plague of this plague was there, which killed a lot of people, 100 million people. You can imagine around 10 crore people were killed in that plague, which was there for around 200 years. Then Black Death was there, which killed around 25 million people. That is around 2.5 crore people in Europe. So these are all diseases there. Communicable diseases, pre-existing diseases in the population like dysentery, cholera, measles, tuberculosis, and all, they get communicated after the disaster because people are now living in close proximity to each other, and then the diseases are the diseases get an environment, and the diseases get a vector for their transmission. So ecological changes are there. Like the river may change its course or in case of a flood and all. So altered ecology is there. Living conditions, the diseases spread due to the living conditions. Stray animals and wild animal displacement, rabies and all are spread, especially in dogs and other animals. Damage to public utility, water supply, sewage disposal, even electricity and all. No? This was especially seen in the cyclone which was there in the June month. Population movements. So again, population has moved from one place to another. So new diseases are there, diarrheal diseases, interruption in public health services. These all things are there which are there due to the communicable diseases. So diseases after man-made diseases. Now again, man-made disasters means what? Man-made disasters means we have already discussed the warfare, the technological disaster, and all the other industrial type of disaster. These are the man-made type of disaster. So it will the man-made disaster, the diseases will differ. Like in case of the we have studied about the Bhopal gas tragedy, right? So people are still affected. Still the symptoms are there. One more example is about the nuclear hazard. Nuclear, you can say atomic bomb, which was there in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. So the symptoms and symptoms are still found in the people who are living there because still so many years have gone by. No? Around 70 years, more than 70 years have passed, but still people are affected by the symptoms are still seen in the evolution, in the biological traits of the population. Spectrum may vary from range from non-fatal injuries to chromosomal defects. Again, chromosomal defects, Hiroshima and Nagasaki is a good example of the chromosomal defects, where the entire genetics of a population is changed. Again, technology that is capable of producing mass destruction weapons and development in biotechnology, leading to invention of deadly bio-attack organisms is a concern for them. And again, other impacts are sexual violence, especially in case where the number of women are very less as compared to the number of men. Human rights violation is there. So all these are there. These are the impacts of disaster because people are now when their capabilities are reduced, because in a disaster their capabilities are reduced, so they become more vulnerable. And hence, as a disaster management professional, what you should do is first and foremost you should provide relief. Then immediate next should be rehabilitation. At least they should be provided with safe shelters so that they have access to food and clothing. and then after the rehabilitation, the reconstruction, and then preparedness and mitigation. These all phases are there. And mental health impact, of course, mental health is more important, more so in today's world, where you hear about many people and they are committing suicide and all, because why? They are in some serious stress. So in case of disaster, the stress is more because the people have gone through some unbearable pain, which may be in the loss of some human beings, or their even personal injuries may be there. So because of that, they may be having a great stress. So stage one is adrenergic surge. They may be very you can say, what you can say is, adrenergic surge means they are just in heat of the moment, they take reckless decisions. Stage 2 is helplessness and a loss of self control. This is over a period of time. Then stage 3 is despondency and demoralization. If the people are not, they have lost their livelihood, they have no source of income, and they have no source of, you can say, supporting the family and all, and then they become despondent and demoralized. So it is more so in case of children, because they have not developed, their mental state is not developed to cope up with the disasters. So in preschoolers, again, before in very young kids, increased fear, arousal is there. School age children, reckless psychometric signs, and adolescents, the teenage people also, there is some severe impact of disaster. And also the elderly, because their risk is more than the physical, their risk is more for the physical injury than the mental injury. And rescue workers, especially the emergency medical services team, they are the secondary victims of a disaster. They themselves have not been affected by the disaster, but they come for the rescue of the people, and hence they are affected by the disaster. They get affected because of the presence on the disaster site. So the emergency medical team should be well equipped, so that they themselves, their lives, or their particular, they're protected from the particular disaster related effects. Stress reactions seen in non-professionals. If people are not properly trained, they may be quite stressed to helping out the people. More emotional trauma if involved in failed rescue attempts, like in case of you can say earthquakes and all, na? Or rather the people removing of people from the debris in case of earthquakes. If people are not able to, you can say, find many survivors, again they will be feeling the emotional trauma. Inexperienced body handlers become more sensitive. This is more in case of, when there is a pandemic like situations. So these situations are there. So days there, 2 days are marked actually. This is for rescue workers. 19 August is observed as World Humanitarian Day in honor of aid workers. This is not AIDS, this is aid workers, means the helping workers, the rescue workers who have lost their lives in the disasters. Then disaster recovery, there are two elements. One is repatriation. Repatriation means the people, they should be made, or if their homes are safe enough to live, they should be, again, after the effect of disaster, they should be made, or they should be made to return to the original places after all the work of or after all the place of their occupancy is properly, you can say, properly it is made again livable. And rehabilitation, if the houses themselves are damaged, so restoration of basic social functions, providing temporary shelters, stress debriefing, because this is mental sessions are very important, especially for victims who have lost their near and dear ones. Economic rehabilitation, because people may have lost their livelihood, so you should provide them with some basic economic rehabilitation. It is again a government job, but still the disaster management agencies should take a note of it and provide the various recoveries which are possible from their side. Psychosocial rehabilitation, scientific damage assessment, these all should be done by the team, disaster management team, so that it submits a proper report to the government. So elements of recovery, community recovery, the entire community is made capable of handling the disaster. Infrastructure recovery, the houses. Now our role as civil engineers are more in this second particular object, that is the infrastructure recovery. We should provide rehabilitation measures as well as reconstruction measures, so that the services and lifelines are again restored to their original form, or better form than the original. Economic recovery, financial, political aspects are involved, and then environment recovery. Reconstruction is rebuilding homes. Now these you can see two images. one image is of damaged homes, and then you can provide simple shelters as engineers, as civil engineers, or even as mechanical engineers. You can provide sort of some mechanical systems for transportation and of the people from one place to another. So that all can be done. So owner driven reconstruction is there. Speedy reconstruction should be there, because people have to be given proper accommodations within a very less time. So linking reconstruction with safe development. So these all things are there. And one more aspect of disaster mitigation is permanent reduction of risk of disaster. This is to be understood. One is disaster management, another is disaster mitigation. So that if the disaster strikes anytime in the next future, if the hazard is there in the any time in the near future, people are saved from the hazard and it doesn't become a disaster. So primary mitigation is just you provide some, you assess the vulnerability and you just reduce the hazard. And secondary mitigation is you make the people so much capable that they themselves are able to reduce the effects of hazards. The component of reducing hazard is protection against threat by removing the cause of threat. Like in case of the floods, in case of flood, why the floods is there? Most of the flood is there because in case of urban centers, because of the lack of cleaning of the drainage, and the drainage doesn't flow properly. The stormwater drains are not capable or not adequate to carry, because these were designed by the Britishers in that time based on the population which was then, and still not much development is there. And what it is causing is, especially in case of floods and all, these things they become very much paramount. So first is reducing the hazard itself. Hazard itself means the storm water drainage and all, they are made properly according to the design, according to population, according to the levels, ground levels which are there on the city. Second is the vulnerability, like not like making some laws. So no hutments is there, no hutment should be there in this vicinity, or like raising the levels of the ground. These all things are there for reducing the vulnerability, not making people quite close or quite proximate to the hazard. Is that particular mitigation is also important. Natural hazards are inevitable there, they may come there. We cannot say that the floods will not be there or something will not be there in the future, but you can reduce the vulnerability. Two things you should reduce: you should reduce the hazard itself, or you should reduce the vulnerability. So natural hazards are inevitable, they are going to be there, but vulnerability can be reduced. So hazard identification and mapping, assessment of the hazard, estimating probability of a damaging phenomena. Like in case of floods and all, this hazard identification is there. Based on the position of winds, position of clouds, the direction of winds, the speed of winds, the flood can be predicted. But again, how accurately it is predicted is a different matter. In US and all, even the hourly rain is predicted. How much rain will be there in a particular hour, that is also predicted. We do not have such advanced systems in India, but still what we can do, at least we can predict some things. Of course, our prediction will not be very much accurate. That is a different thing, but at least we can reduce the vulnerability. We cannot predict the hazard perfectly, but at least we can make the students move, you can say people move from one place to the safer place. The vulnerability assessment should also be done. So many studies are there, especially after this Mumbai flood of 2005. Many studies were there done by IIT, which have done the hazard and vulnerability mapping. Even I will share a document with you. It is a paper presentation. You will be very much appreciate the work which is done for the reducing the hazard, but still that is on paper. It should be brought into practice, then and then only the disaster mitigation can be properly done. Risk analysis should be done. Again, probability of hazard, elements susceptible, nature of vulnerability, specified future time period. These all components should be addressed. Prevention, again, prevention can be done. Activities taken to prevent a natural phenomena or potential hazard from having harmful effects or on people or economic assets. The prevention, what prevention is done, that is also important. Disaster mitigation measure, one is, as I said, one is active, one is passive. So passive means something which is done by, we can say passive which is done. Look, the active means what? Active is done by the, we can say beforehand, you can say a proactive approach. And passive means something which forces you to do. A passive approach or a reactive approach is something which is forced to be done. So always you should focus on the active measures. Active measures means promotion of desired actions by planning, control, training and education. You train the people itself so that they themselves evacuate themselves when the hazard is going to be done. Economic assistance, subsidies, facility, refugee point storage, all this is planned well in advance. Public information is there. So this is done well in advance. Passive means when the disaster has struck, then you take the requirement, you can say when the disaster has struck, then you take the various measures. So those are known as passive measures. So requirements to conform with design codes, checking compliance of controls on site, court proceedings, fines, closures. These all things are passive measures. So always we should focus more on the active measures. So you just see now we are discussing the vulnerability because you have to see two phenomena. A question may be asked in the exam. What is the vulnerability profile of India, or rather, what is the Indian disaster scenario? And sometimes the question may also be asked, what is the global scenario of disaster? So you should be prepared for both. So in this particular figure speaks of the major disasters in India which are there. So most of the damage which is caused is because of the, you can say 58% of the people are vulnerable to earthquake disaster because the building. Acha, this is not the percentage of disaster. Well mind, this is the vulnerability of people. What the people are vulnerable to, how many percentage of people are vulnerable to how much percent of disaster. So 58% of people are vulnerable to 58% of people are vulnerable to the earthquake disaster, or you can say landslides and all. This come under this category. Are you understanding? 58% people are going to be affected by this disaster because of their dilapidated homes. Second category is drought. Drought, especially in Rajasthan and northern Gujarat and all these regions, western Gujarat, the drought severely affects the people. Why? Because there is no water. No water is there. People have to go miles and miles just to fetch water for their personal, you can say personal utilization, and it creates a lot of, and these people are a lot vulnerable, and many deaths are there due to various, you can say, lack of proper water, and because of no water, no food is there, no food is produced, and it becomes very difficult to transport food from outside, especially because their purchasing capacity and all these are also diminished. And the third important thing is the, you can say, the floods. The floods are especially more in case of course you know where the regions in India the floods are there. In Mumbai, the coastal regions are more affected by floods, but again it is not just the coastal regions, even the hills and all, they can be affected. The river, the places in the proximity of rivers are mostly affected. Then cyclones are there, and the landslides and all these are there. So major disasters in the last 40 years, of course this data is of 2015 or 14, so these disasters are there for that data. Again after that also many disasters are there. You can see how many people, the impact of the disaster, no? The drought, to 20 crore people were affected by this drought of 1972. It was a very severe drought. And cyclone was there in Andhra Pradesh, and drought was there again. 30 crore people were affected in 1987. Cyclone. You can see most of these things are previously. Now the drought has not that much significant because many irrigation systems and all have been developed in the last few years. So water is made available, but still it is in interior parts of the country, the disaster is still prevalent, especially in the summer season. And super cyclone of Orissa, where many people have died. Bhuj earthquake was there. Tsunami, where many deaths were there. Floods of Mumbai, and again earthquake was there in Kashmir, where 1400 deaths were there. Kosi floods. This Uttarakhand flood were there. Flash flood was there. Then again after that you have this pandemic currently, and also in between you have so many disasters which are there. Chennai flood was there. So many disasters are there. So you can just see the major disasters which are there which were occurred in the last few years. So with this we'll end with today's lecture.